Done is better than perfect. Did you ever hear that saying before? Apparently those words are attributed to a billionaire named Sheryl Sandberg. Now, she used to work for Google and apparently met Mark Zuckerberg, and then she went over and worked for Facebook for 14 years as their chief operating officer. Now, Mark Zuckerberg has been quoted as saying that she's the woman who taught him how to run a company. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's kind of a silly saying and not really great advice, especially when it comes to being a YouTuber. Now, let me explain why. Now, I know originally the quote was meant to get people to think more about progress and being efficient instead of focusing on getting something to be perfect. It was business advice in the tech space designed to help people who were trying to move products forward. Sheryl wanted people who worked at these companies not to get stuck in that phase of analysis paralysis, where you get so focused on trying to make the thing just right that you forget that there's a process to building things. Sheryl wanted to make sure that people had the ability to complete tasks and move on to the next one, and not get stuck worrying about whether everything was exactly perfect or not. She also knew that perfectionism sometimes could create mental blocks. If you get so worried about something being perfect, sometimes you actually get stuck on what to do next because you can't seem to get it just the way you want it. Now, I can see how some of that might seem to apply to being a YouTuber, but I honestly feel like these are two things that aren't really in competition. If you were a bridge builder and you were trying to replace a bridge that was really old and had signs of decay and that people were worrying about that bridge collapsing, I don't think telling them, hey, it's not perfect, but we got it done, that's probably not the answer they want to hear. Or what if you brought your car into the mechanic because your brakes started to fail and you have two little kids that you were driving back and forth to school every day? If you asked that mechanic, hey, are the brakes all set? And he said, well, they're not perfect, but I got it done, I think that you'd be worried. One of the biggest problems I have with that piece of advice is it assumes that there is such a thing as perfection. And I'll be honest with you, especially when it comes to YouTube videos, I don't think there is such a thing as a perfect video. I think that in any given moment, there is the ability for us to do the best that we can do with the skill set we have, and that we should probably try to apply those things to the content that we're making. I think a video can be done really well, and it can also be done on time. The whole idea of done is better than perfect, I think often gets misconstrued by creators, and it pits two things against each other that really aren't in competition. I think you can make a video that's really well done and also is completed on time. When you start saying one is better than the other, it's a bit like saying salsa is better than chips. I didn't know that those two things should be in competition. I know what I like, both of those things together. Chips with salsa. Aim for both. Take the word perfect out of the equation and just replace it with some more realistic words. I've worked with thousands of YouTube content creators, and I don't think any one of them have ever made a perfect video. I know lots of creators who have made really great videos and videos that have done really well on the platform. I also know creators who have made a lot of videos on their channel and content that has done well over time. But more often than not, when I'm trying to help a creator really start growing their channel, it isn't a matter of them making videos, it's a matter of them making the right videos and taking the time to learn the skills to make the kind of content that connects with the target audience they're trying to reach. I've definitely run into a lot of creators who make content week after week, and those videos just don't really seem to drive views or connect. So to tell them, don't worry about it being perfect, just get it done, I don't think that that really helps those people learn how to grow a YouTube channel. I think we do have to be sensitive to the idea that some people do get that mental block. They do worry if they're going to look right when people start watching their video, or are people going to respond to it? And they worry whether or not they're good enough, or if people will accept what they've made. But that's a different idea than worrying about if something is perfect. I've never made a perfect video. I don't know anyone who has. I only know people who have made really strong content that either I've connected with or the people they were trying to reach connected with. For me, when it comes to advice about making content, I think Benjamin Franklin actually had some better advice. His advice was, well done is better than well said. It's a bit of a precursor to the idea of actions speak louder than words. But it makes a lot of sense because I think that what we're trying to do at any given point is actually do the thing. And we're just trying to do the best job we can in that moment. Some videos require a lot of our attention, but there are other videos that come out really quickly and easily that don't need nearly as much work. Does that mean that they're less perfect than another video? I don't think so. I think we should be trying to work on things like connection, flow, structure, making things that make sense to the people we're trying to reach. Now, I've had videos that had mistakes in them that I didn't notice till afterwards, and those things eat at me a lot. It happens sometimes. But I've never had a video that I've made that I knew there was mistakes in it and said, well, I'll just publish it anyway, no big deal. For me, it's important to make content to the best of my ability at that moment. And if I realize it's something that I could fix or it's a mistake, then I'm probably going to stop and correct those mistakes and then publish that video. It's worth it to me because I respect the people I'm trying to reach with the very content I make. Now, there are times that I try to make a video that I'm taking up to the next level, and I'm really trying to push my skill set. A lot of times we refer to these as a hero video, a video that you take a little longer than you normally would, something you really try to go out on a limb and push the boundaries of your skills to see if you can grow as a creator. This is actually a good time to take a minute to talk about our sponsor today, Storyblocks. Now, if you're a content creator who's actually trying to make a hero video or take your content to the next level and do something a little more than maybe you have in the past, sometimes you might be looking for things like better music to put onto your video or video B-roll that you can use inside of that video. Or maybe you even want to add things like great imagery or sound effects that will really make that video stand out. Well, Storyblocks is an asset house where you can actually get all of those things in one place at one affordable price. You can get that high-resolution, professional-looking B-roll. You can get great imagery and a wide selection of audio tracks. You can find sound effects to use in your videos that you might find difficult to locate in other places. The great thing about Storyblocks is you can use all of these things royalty-free in your next video. Now, I've been using Storyblocks for years, long before they ever approached me about potentially doing a collaboration on the channel. The thing that I think really makes Storyblocks stand out is you can get all of these types of assets for a single price, and you can get access to as many of these things as you need. Storyblocks has made that simple, with 2 clear-cut licenses that both offer comprehensive coverage, so you can stop worrying about unpredictable subscription costs and spend time creating with confidence once you sign up. Once you sign up for an account, the sky's the limit. You can get access to as many of their high-quality assets as creators like you and me need for our projects. I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can check out Storyblocks for yourself today. You know, what was funny was the other day I was skimming through movies on the TV and I came across Jaws. Now, Jaws was a Steven Spielberg movie from 1975, and I can remember being 9 years old when that movie came out, and I wanted to see it more than anyone. Then I asked my mom if I could see it, and she said, well, let me ask my friends, and if they say it's okay, then I'll let you see the movie. Spoiler alert, my mom's friends ruined that for me. They said, no way, take him to that movie. It's much too scary. Now, I did end up seeing that movie a few years later, and I loved that movie. It was actually one of the highest grossing movies of all time until Star Wars came along and knocked it off its throne. But I can remember for those entire summers of 75 and 76 that people were actually afraid to go into the water. That's how convinced they were that they were going to run into a giant great white shark in the ocean because of this movie. But what's interesting is if you look at that shark in retrospect, it really doesn't look that convincing. Spielberg himself has said they had all kinds of problems with the animatronics of that shark, and it never did what they wanted it to do. That thing was far from perfect, but the movie itself was really well done. They learned to work around the things that weren't perfect and lean on the things that were really good, like the storytelling and the acting, and the elements of that film that really created drama and suspense and got people on the edge of their seat. What they focused on was connecting with the audience. Now, since the movie Jaws in 1975, Spielberg has really gone on to perfect the way he makes movies. Now, are all the movies he's made since then perfect? No. But he's made some really convincing dinosaurs in Jurassic Park that make that mechanical shark look even worse in retrospect. But he didn't let that shark stop him. He understood that that was everything he could do within the budget he had for that movie at that time. And I think that's the way the creators should think. When you're looking at a video, look at what you have to work with. Look at the time frame you have to get things done, and look at what you're trying to connect. And if you can focus all your energy on doing the best job you can with what you have in the amount of time you've been allotted, I think that those are the things that we really need to focus on. And we should always try to move the needle a little bit more every time we build or create. I think we should try to get our footage to look a little bit better. I think we should try to get our audio to sound a little bit better. I think we should work on being a little better on camera every time we have to speak into a camera, if that's the kind of content you make, or whatever the thing you do in your videos, try to improve it and take it to the next level as you learn by making more videos. Your videos may never be perfect, but they don't need to be. What they need to be is engaging and compelling, and they need to be out there for the world to see. So is done better than perfect? Nah, perfect doesn't exist. Do the best you can. Make content that connects. And every week, look at what you've been making and how your target audience is reacting and see how you can level that up and what things that you can improve on. And then try to do a little better in the next one. And if you ever get to the point where you get so frustrated where you can't seem to get anything done, take a break. Take some time off. Step away from the thing for a while. Sometimes just stepping away and getting your head out of the game allows you to come back later on with a fresh set of eyes or a fresh set of ears and have a much better sense of perspective about what's important, what's working, what can be improved, and what your next step might be. I've said it before, the most important thing for creators like us is to just keep creating. So get out there and do it. And if you're looking for some other tips on how to improve your content and grow your YouTube channel faster, try checking out the video that I have on screen now or the one that I'll link down below. Peace.